Now, that pending Supreme Court ruling could have a big impact on midterm elections, with the first test being today's high-stakes primary in Ohio. So let's bring in ABC's Kenneth Moton and senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer, who's actually on the road in eastern Ohio for that primary. Devin, how are voters and candidates talking about this?
Hey, Dwyer, well, the issue of abortion had not been front and center here in Ohio in a number of these races, but this morning it's safe to say it is. You know, it has been a major factor in the gubernatorial election here. Governor Mike Dwyer, very popular Republican in this state, a couple years ago signed a 6-week abortion ban into law. It was blocked by a federal court. He's going to face off with one of 2 Democratic challengers. We'll find out tonight if it's former Dayton Mayor Nan Whaley. She'd be the first woman candidate to run for governor here, or John Cranley. Both of them are pro-choice. Excuse me, but in that race, it's a very significant development because as we watch the Supreme Court move forward on this case, the battle over what's next for abortion will take place in these state legislatures, and governors, of course, wield the veto pen on this legislation. So we'll see that flare up there. I just caught up with Tim Ryan, the congressman, Democratic congressman from Ohio, who's running for Senate here. He said that the abortion issue will be a motivator, and he expects that Democrats in that race, high-stakes race, will be animated by this issue, Diane.
So, Kenneth, what kind of a political impact could this have? This is just one primary, but there are more to come. And then, of course, you get into the general elections. So how is this expected to impact that whole process?
Yeah, Diane, this is sure to galvanize voters on both sides. Yes, Democratic voters will likely be the loudest, but Republican voters know that there's a conservative majority on the high court, and they want to keep it that way. Look, the timing of this leak cannot be overlooked, because we know that 6 months from today, the midterm elections are happening. And this was supposed to be an election of kitchen table issues, the economy, high-paying jobs, inflation, but now make no mistake that abortion rights will be right at the top of the list. Also, you can see in that statement from the president that Terry mentioned, you mentioned it as well, the White House is gearing up for this fight because the president said he's calling on voters to elect pro-choice officials in November. And at the federal level, the president is saying this country needs more pro-choice senators and a pro-choice majority in the House to codify Roe through legislation.
Now, Devin, the Supreme Court has always been known for secrecy, and it's the branch of government that's supposed to be above politics. So how significant is the leak itself, and is there any sense of how this happened?
I cover the Supreme Court, as you know, Diane. I've covered it for years, and nothing like this has ever happened before at the Supreme Court. Not only is it unprecedented, but one of my colleagues over there who's covered it for decades described it as an earthquake. This is simply something that these lifetime appointed justices who are stuck with each other, for lack of a better word, they don't do this to each other. They don't leak to the press. Certainly not a consequential opinion such as this. I think it really suggests just how acrimonious behind the scenes this fight has become over this issue. And it's really tarnishes the reputation of the Supreme Court, something that retiring Justice Breyer, Chief Justice John Roberts, have really fought to protect the reputation of the Supreme Court, to keep it above the fray. This has all but destroyed at least that perception of the Supreme Court as something that was trying to, stay within the norms of decorum in our otherwise polarized politics. So huge blow to the credibility of the Supreme Court, no matter which side you're on in this issue, that it would come to this. And I think just the fallout at the Supreme Court is just beginning, Diane. I think we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out.
And Kenneth, Vice President Kamala Harris is scheduled to speak to an abortion rights group tonight. What can we expect from that?
Well, Diane, this will be the first in-person work appearance for the vice president after being in quarantine from COVID. And this will be probably one of the most important appearances for her in this administration. She's going to be speaking at this We Are Emily National Conference and Gala tonight. The group supports, as you mentioned, women candidates who are for abortion rights. And as we talk about, the fact that the midterms are 6 months from today, yes, the White House, the president knows this election is coming up, but this almost feels like the first day of truly rallying the Democratic base. And so the vice president has a big job job tonight because we don't know if the president will speak on camera later today. But at this point, we know that we will see Vice President Kamala Harris in front of a camera. And so this will be a major moment for this administration as the first female vice president for this country steps up to the mic.
And Devin, we heard Terry mention that if this opinion stands, it could potentially set a precedent for rulings on other issues like same-sex marriage. How would that work? And do you think this leak increases the urgency for the court to get a final opinion out on this?
You know, Diane, I don't know that, the developments with the leak are going to increase the timeline for this opinion to come out. I mean, even if what came out overnight was the final opinion, remember that the dissenting justices in any case, as in this one, get some time to write and prepare their response. So that was one of the interesting things with what we saw overnight is we didn't see, because it was a first draft, any response to the dissent. And that's what's being hashed out right now. So you can't release an opinion without the dissent and the other concurring opinions. I still think this is several weeks away as this continues to play out behind the scenes. But in terms of the other rights at risk, certainly the left and Democrats are alarmed that this sort of decision would set a precedent. This Alito draft, apparent draft, does sort of say explicitly that other rights aren't being addressed therein, but there is deep concern about that. It did come up at the oral argument, and I think if this decision comes down as the way it seems it's headed, there will be deep concern among these other groups about what it means.
All right, Devin, Dwyer, Kenneth, Moton, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.